Hello fellow guitar geeks, this is the DC-15S, a portable guitar amp from Joyo. Portable in the sense that there's a built-in rechargeable lithium battery in it. It costs around €200, and in this video I'm going to see if it's any good. Actually, before we go any further, this is a sponsored video from Joyo, but please consider all thoughts and opinions my own. In the box is the charger and power adapter, and it runs on 110 volts to 240 volts, so you can use it internationally. You get a little foot switch from Joyo, which is able to change the preset of the amp and the looper start-stop and all that looper business. For that, you get a stereo jack cable, which is molded, but it's better quality than the ones you find in cheap guitar boxes. Then we move on to the live streaming recording to your phone stuff. So you get this little TRRS adapter and then a really, really long TRRS cable. That's super long, and that is fantastic because not only does it come with the amp, it's long enough to put your phone far enough away from you that you can get a good shot whilst you record yourself playing guitar. If you're on Android, that's all you need. If you're on iOS, an iPhone or iPad, you're going to need to get yourself one of these lightning cable adapters. I'm going to mic it up with this, the LCT440 Pure condenser mic from Lewitt Audio, also a very affordable mic. We'll do the amps first, so all electric amps. Then I'll go through the effects and the reverb and delay. Then later on, we'll look at the acoustic sounds and the looper and the drumming section. And of course, at the end of the video, I'll review it and tell you whether I think you should buy it or not. And don't forget to stick around for the end of the video club so you can understand what's going on in the comments section. If you don't know what that means, just wait till the end of the video. Hold up! Now would be a good time for you to click the like, thumbs up thing. Because if you do, then more people get to see this video, and that helps me out. So if it's helping you, help me, and we help each other. Cheers! Most of the controls are on the top of the amp. We've got the input for the guitar just here. Then we've got gain, tone, and volume, the amp control. The gain being pretty much how much drive you're going to give it, so preamp gain. Tone, further to the left is a darker tone, further to the right is a brighter tone. Then the volume of the guitar, or whatever you put into the input. Then we've got the amp models, which is a switchy knob. So we can switch all the way around here. There are 9 different ones, but 8 electric and 1 acoustic. Then we've got the preset button, which if you create a preset or create some kind of setting, if you hold this down, it will, in fact, let's turn it on, I'll show you. So if I hold it down now, it will save the preset to the red one. Then I can change it around like that, and then press it again, and it'll go back to what I created. So you've got 2 presets. You've got what's on the amp and what you've saved. So that's not really 2 presets. That's 1 preset and whatever's currently happening with the knobs. Effects down here, we've got chorus, flanger, phaser, and tremolo, all modulation effects, and you can see which one's activated by the red light and off. Then we've got the space, which is either delay and reverb, and then we've got volume and style of the rhythm, which is the drummer. Also on top, we've got the tap tempo. We've got the Bluetooth, so to connect that, you hold it down and then search for it with your phone or iPad or whatever. That's very, very standard. Bluetooth 4. We've got line in if you want to put anything in with a cable, and we've got headphones out. Then over here is the looper. On the back is a power switch, the input for the charger or power cable, and yes, you can use it whilst it's plugged in, so you don't have to use the battery. Over here we've got a line out, which you can line out to a PA or recording device. It does not mute the internal speaker. Then we've got the foot switch input for the foot switch. We've got recording to the Android or iOS. I'm not sure why they're different, but if you've got Android, use that one. If you've got iOS, use that one. I've only got iOS, so we'll be doing that one in this video. So let's take a listen to the effects. Up first, chorus. And as you turn the knob clockwise, you get more wobbliness. So it gets more wobbly. Then we've got the flanger, which again starts off with a small amount of flange, and then as you increase the knob, you get more flange. Let's turn it up to the max, so up to phaser and then back. There we go. Oh, super warbly, not crazy, still usable. So all the parameters seem to be usable so far. Let's go for phaser. And as you turn the knob again up to maximum phaser, the phase gets faster. Then the final effect is tremolo, which is really nice. The tremolo might be my favorite effect on this. You can get something quite subtle. So you have the same depth, but as you turn it up, the tremolo gets faster. It never goes into slicer territory. So with the effects, nothing goes into weird territory. Nothing goes into unusable or quirkiness. So it's a very, very subtle effects, but they're all good. One of my favorite things about this amp is the fact that it's got a looper built in, which is great for rehearsing and practicing and learning stuff. You can activate it in one of two ways. There's a switch on the amp itself, which is odd because you don't normally have a hand free when you're playing guitar, even though I did use that switch in the intro track. You can also use the foot switch, and both switches work exactly the same way. You press it once to start recording, press it again to stop recording, press it a third time and you can overdub and overlay stuff, and then press it twice, tap tap, to stop the loop, hold it down to delete the loop. Space, the space knob. It has delay and reverb, but you can use one at a time, not simultaneously. If you have it, you can have it off as well. If you have it just on with the delay, you get this little slapback. And then as you increase the space knob, the time between the delays gets longer. Then we move on to the reverbs, which is one reverb, and then you just increase the mix by turning the knob further clockwise. So just a little bit of reverb at the moment. Turning that space up gives us a big old room. It's pretty big, it's cavernous, but of course this is the mix. So if you want a little less, then dial in a little less. So, streaming from the amp to your phone, meaning that you're taking a line out of the amp and going straight into the phone, so you get great audio, which is much, much better than just putting your phone in a room and hoping that it picks up the amp. The first thing you need to do is decide if you're using iOS or Android. I'm using iOS, so I'm going to plug into there. I don't know how it works on Android, I'm sorry. I don't use Android. But because I've got iOS, I need this little adapter to plug the TRRS cable to Lightning. Then I plug it into my phone like that. And now, regardless of whether you're using the camera app or TikTok or Instagram or YouTube to go live, all the audio is going to come from this cable. There's nothing going to be picked up by the mics of the phone. So let's plug in the guitar, like that. And now I'm going to switch to my phone camera and I'm going to record something so you can see it being recorded. Also, if you have another iPad or a phone or something else that can play music via Bluetooth or from line out, then you could put a backing track into the amp and play along with that whilst your phone connected with this cable can record you or stream you to your social media channel of choice. So you can actually play along with backing tracks live or make videos. But you need a second device for that. One of the things I was really skeptical about, and I'm still skeptical about, is the fact that it's got an acoustic channel and whether it really needs one. So this is my Harley Benton custom line Superior E. Yeah, it's got a built-in pre-sys from Fishman, so it's got a jack out. That's going straight into the amp now. It's on the acoustic channel with a little bit of reverb. Gain's about a quarter and volume is at about halfway. Okay, so I was wrong. It is considerably louder than the guitar itself. So I'm sitting here, I can hear the amp over the acoustic, and it's actually representing what the acoustic sounds like to me when it's not plugged in, which is quite thin and quite percussive and not very bassy. So if you're hearing this thinking, well, there's no bass in that amp, there's not much bass coming from the guitar. So let's turn the tone all the way down and see if that makes a difference. Okay, that did it. By cutting a little bit of the highs, it let that body come through from the guitar and made it sound more bassy. I think that's a perfectly usable sound for an acoustic guitar. Because it's battery powered, you can take that out and play to people on the streets and serenade them if you want to. But I think that's great. It's really, really good. And it's super loud. The rhythm section is a built-in drummer. So you've got the volume of the drummer just here, and then you've got the style of the drummer and the on and off. Because this knob here, if you push it, turns the drummer on, or turns him off. And then as you rotate the knob, it's a clicky knob, so you've got 36 different drum patterns. And then you've got the tap tempo, if you want blast beats. Yeah, so the tap tempo only works with the rhythm section. Sadly, it doesn't work with the time-based effects or the modulation, which I think is a big shame. If those two were linked, that would really give this a little bit of extra sugar coating on top that I would really appreciate. As it is, okay, a real shame that it's not linked together, because you then have to dial in your tremolo, for example, to match the BPM of the drums. I am pleasantly surprised by the Joyo DC-15S, and I've kind of fallen a little bit in love with it, which I definitely was not in love with it at the beginning. In the beginning, it sounded to me tinny and unbelievable, and some of those high gain stuff still don't sound that great to me, but that's because I'm used to helix tones and tube amps and analog pedals, and this is a portable amp that allows you to play guitar and live stream and Bluetooth backing tracks, and it's really loud. And it's €200. So you have to keep that in mind when thinking about the review. The sounds are full and full range, but don't expect studio grade tones. For newcomers to guitar, there's very little to complain about. And with a backing track, the guitar sits in the mix brilliantly with that reverb. But if you're playing alone, the guitar tone can be a little bit uninspiring. The amp models also have too much gain at low volumes, and they seem to work better on a single coil rather than a humbucker, because there just seems to be too much drive coming from the guitar, although it does work fine with a humbucker. The build quality is superb. I think we should bring back the term built like a tank. I think it's gone out of being a cliche now, because this DC-15S is built like a tank, which unfortunately means it's also rather heavy. I really would not want to carry this with me in my hand and guitar in the other, because the small handles are helpful, but there's not enough there to want to actually carry it for long periods of time. So you need to put it in some sort of case of which I don't have, and I'm not sure it comes with one. I feel the design of the amp could be improved by having the back panel slightly recessed so that the sockets and the power switch are not sticking out so much. It's not necessary from a build point of view, but certainly from a design point of view. It feels, I don't know, like they could have done a little bit more. The rechargeable battery lasts around 1 to 3 hours, but of course you can plug it in and recharge and play at the same time if you have power available. The rhythms are super easy to use, so just putting them on is easy, and that's a big thing because there's no menus and there's no sub-menus. You press the button, you select the one you want, you tap the tempo, and you adjust the volume, and off you go. They're not the best drums in the world, but I found that when I did that loop at the beginning, I totally wasn't focusing on the quality of the drums. It was the fact that they were there and they were supporting that loop. So if you listen to them on their own, they're not great, but they are more than enough to just inspire, and I don't think any audience hearing that is going to complain that your drum samples sound a bit old. Connecting it to your phone with a TRRS cable is a big plus, because this means you can live stream with it and record videos direct, so you don't have to mic it up. That means for €200, you could quite easily create Instagram videos with backing tracks and some okay tones. And if you're a beginner, this is far better than anything I could have dreamed of when I started. Having this extra connection is not the same as having a headphone out and then somehow getting that into your phone, because that would mute the speaker in the cab. But when you're coming out of the iOS or the Android port, you still hear the cab. So you can hear what you're playing, you can hear the backing track. And that means, yeah, the phone's just there recording what you're doing and your sound is not affected by the phone. That's a big plus. My favorite thing about the amp is that it's plug and play. There's no computer involved, there's no USB socket, you don't need to upgrade any firmware, which means it's future-proof. Everything that what you use is what you have, so there's no more, but there's no less. There's no hidden features you can't get to. And of course, with more expensive amps, you can download new patches and things like that. With this, if you're afraid of plugging your amp into a computer, or you just don't want to, this doesn't allow for it. So you're stuck with what you have, which sometimes leads you to be more creative. There are some negative things though, and for me, one of them is that the time-based effects don't sync to the tap tempo. And it's a budget amp, but it would be cool if the tremolo is in sync with the beats of the drum. You can do that, of course, manually, but it would be nice. I don't know how much more expensive it would be to rework that, but it would be great if it automatically synced to your BPM, but it doesn't. It is fairly heavy for what it is, so it's not exactly as portable as Joyo would like to make it, but it is super loud, and that lithium battery must be pretty big. And we've got 2 speakers in there, so not stereo, there's a tweeter and a woofer and a port. So that's why it's got the port, the donut hole, must be very heavy. But yeah, the weight's quite a lot, and also when you push the volume past sort of 3/4, it's just going to distort, because that's the nature of these style of amplifiers. It's Class D, it's loud, but it's not as loud as the volume knob would let you believe, because once you go past a certain point, the sound quality starts to deteriorate, but you don't need to go that far, really. Although it won't keep up with the drummer, if that's what you're asking. It's not drummer territory, probably. Depends on your style of music, I guess. To summarize the review, the Joyo DC-15S has no fat. It's all in there. It's all packed in. There's nothing wasted. So you've got some really nice reverb. I really like the reverb algorithm. All the modulation effects are usable and they're good. The amps, not all great, but there's enough in there for you to find something, especially with the gain knob being able to adjust, that you can find something to suit what you're looking for. It might just not be what it says on the label of the amp. So the lead actually is quite clean sometimes. Yeah, speaking of distortion and gain, there's too much gain in the lower end. So I wish there was less gain at the bottom of the knob, bottom of the knob, and more gain at the top. So if you're looking for a tonally versatile portable practice amp that you don't need a phone to operate or a computer, then the DC-15S should be on your list of potential purchases. Yeah, overall, I've come to enjoy the amp, and although I found it uninspiring at first because I'm used to all these magical super algorithms of digital recreations of the tones we love, that's not what the DC-15S is about. It's about giving you the opportunity to play guitar in many places, and then also stream and stuff, and at €200. So yeah, it's not going to win any awards for sounds, but it will make some players very, very happy. That's it, and you've made it to the end of the video club. And to prove that you are a member of this prestigious elite, when you leave your comment down below telling me what you think of the Joyo DC-15S, please also include the phrase, "built like a tank." I'm bringing it back. So, thank you to Joyo for sending the amp to me. Thank you to you for watching. There are some videos over there. There's a subscribe button down there. If you click it, I'll be here waiting for you. So I hope that happens. I'll see you soon. Keep it guitar and keep it geeky. Bye-bye.